Well, Berkshire didn't make the mistake. I made the mistake, incidentally. No, anytime we look at buying a business, we're evaluating the competitive strengths of the business, the price we have to pay, the management we get, and everything. And we didn't make a mistake on the management, but in terms of the earning power on average, and when Boeing has troubles with the Max, well, that's a probability. I mean, anytime any customer is a big, I mean, all kinds of things can happen, and we have seen some of those things happen, and therefore, I paid too much in relation to average earnings. It's a terrific company, and it's I'm happy with the management and everything, but GE doesn't need as many engines as we thought it would need, and they get into the power business and a variety of things. And we knew they're in the businesses, but we did not think those businesses would necessarily be in something close to a depression when other businesses that we bought end up sometimes doing better than we think. But we'll continue making mistakes. I mean, and I shouldn't say we will. I will. But even these other guys,
the rest of us will help.
and well, we've got some wonderful deals and some terrible deals, and the nice thing about it is, as I pointed out, this doesn't really apply in the case of Precision precisely, but when we're disappointed in a business, it usually becomes a smaller and smaller percentage of our business just by the nature of things, because it isn't going anyplace. And when we get a successful business like a Geico or something of the sort, Geico's they're doing 15 times as much business as when we bought control in 1990. They become a proportionally much more important part of our mix. So you really get, through just natural forces, you get more of your money in the things that have developed more favorably than you thought. You actually end up getting a greater concentration in the ones that work out. It's not like, as Charlie would say, it's not like having children. I mean, the ones the bad ones cause you more problems. But in the children of businesses, the small ones kind of. By the way, we started with 3 businesses, Charlie and I, and Berkshire was textiles, Diversified Retailing was a department store, and trading stamps were Blue Chip's business. And those were the 3 companies we put together, and all 3 of the original businesses failed, which sort of gets me in terms of the people that are worried about don't we know that coal is going to be phased out over time? Of course we know coal is going to be, but that doesn't mean we're going to be phased out over time. I mean, that every business has some things to think about that way. The biggest danger, they have that section in the prospectus called, what do they call that? About certain
risk factors.
But risk factors, yeah. The number one risk factor, you never see it. The number one risk factor is that this business gets the wrong management, and you get a guy or a woman in charge of it they're personable. The directors like them. They don't know what they're doing, but they know how to put on an appearance. That's the biggest single danger. The business, and if that person stays and runs it for 10 or 15 years and either stays in the textile business or the department store business and expands. I've looked at a lot of businesses, and that's what's caused the number one problem. And it isn't the kind of thing where they list them all because the lawyers tell them to list them.